Welcome to my PlayHouse, and I have another little test that I talked about in another video that I was gonna do on my server here. I have some hard drives. I have 4 hard drives here, and they're all, let's see if you can see that. Oh, it's not very good, but they're all SAS drives, 500 gigabytes, 7200 rounds per minute, and 6 gigabits SAS, and I have 4 of those, and I want to put those in my server here. And I have 4 more hard drives. These are brand new, and they're all 64 gigabytes solid state disks. So I'm gonna make an array of those. There's no doubt which hard drives are the fastest, because it will be the solid state disks, but it will be interesting to see how much faster they are. I'll just press everything in. There we are. 8 drives in the server, and I will configure each array of 4 hard drives in a RAID 0. I want to see the maximum amount of output. So, and we can turn on the server here, and I'll configure that when the server boots. Turn off the screen and see what data we can get out of 4 solid state disks compared to 4 rather slow SAS disks. I'll let the server boot, and we'll go configure at the RAID adapter. The server is an IBM system X3650 Model 2. It has 2 processors, each quad-core, 2.4 gigahertz. And we'll go in and configure the RAID adapter. And it's down here. Oops. F1, and ready to configure the RAID adapter.
Yeah, so we are gonna program or configure the RAID adapter, and I'm trying something new. I've moved location, and right now I'm in another city. I'm actually an hour's drive away from the server. I think I have to turn down the volume of the microphone. I'm gonna try that. Okay, and I have a little remote desktop here that I'm gonna press, and I'm gonna log into remote desktop off screen. There we are, and it's gonna pop up right there, and I am logged in at my data center, and we are gonna log in to the server that we are configuring. And I have the standard IBM RSA 2 access. There we are, and I should be able to get in. I have the option of configuring a timeout. I always do that because if something goes wrong, it will kick me off in 20 minutes, and if I don't set a timeout, it will take forever. Continue, and I am on the right server. Check. So let's start remote control and single user mode, and open. It's a lot of Java crap. I just tested this a few seconds ago and then it was working, so hopefully it's still working. But yeah, it takes a while. Starting, run, connecting to Korean switch. And there it is, exactly the point where we left it in the data center. And this time, let's continue. The mouse is a bit off. If you can see, I have two mouses. I just need to control the one that's lacking there, the bottom one. Yeah, there are some foreign configurations on the disks that I've put in, and that's because it's the test disks put in again, so we're gonna clear that. Clear all the configurations, and are you sure you wanna proceed? Pretty much. And we should have our disks. Yeah. Two of the disks has already been in the server and have their arrays, so we're gonna start by cleaning that out. That's the test video I did comparing different hard drives. So we're gonna clear configuration. Next. And yes. And then I should have 8 cleared drives. There we are. You can see that the first 4 drives are the SATA 500 gigabytes drives, and the next 4 drives are they're the SAS hard drives, 500 gigabyte, and the next are SATA solid state disks, and they are 64 gigabytes. The sizes are a little bit less because of the way they calculate that. And we're gonna configure that, and I'm gonna start to see if I can do this the automatic way. Manual, that's automatic, and no redundancy. There we are. Next. With a little luck, it will suggest. Let's see. Yes, it looks pretty perfect. It's the first disk group is about 2 terabytes, and that's all of the 500 gigabytes put together, and the second one is about 256 gigabytes, and that's the solid state disks put together in both of them is a RAID 0. That's perfect. And I'm gonna save that, check. And do you wanna proceed? Initialize, yes. So all the disks are being deleted, perfect. And go home and see if this is what we wanted. Yes, the first disk group, drive group 0 contains of the first 4 drives, and drive group 1 contains the last 4 disks. Perfect. Exit. Close application, yes. And press enter to activate now, yes. And we're gonna escape. I'm just gonna save settings and exit setup and yes to exit utility and let the server boot, and we will get back to it when it has booted. And the server is now booting VMware, and I'm gonna be doing the same thing that I've been doing in the other test videos. I'm gonna be launching a virtual machine and giving it 2 drives, and as soon as the server has booted, this server will be available. The server has now fully booted, and the VMware console is right there. We don't need that right now, so we're gonna shut that. It's still down here. There it is. It looks funny, but it's still there. And this is the VMware vCenter application. And here are the server, and it has a yellow triangle, and it's complaining about not having it doesn't really have any storage for its log files and stuff like that, because it's booting off a USB stick. We don't care about that. And right now I can see it has 2 drives, and that's my 2 iSCSI drives. But it should have some more, and that will be under configuration and storage. And if we add storage in here, I think it should have 2 drives, and it does. So this one will be the SAS drives, the 4 500GB SAS drives. So let's add that. Next, and we'll call it 2 terabyte SAS. And they were 7200 RPMs. Next, and use the maximum amount of space, yes, and finish. And that will pop up right here, but I will just add this solid state disks as well. Apparently it's a bit busy. Still in progress down here. Okay, we'll wait until this in progress is done. There it is, completed, and then we'll try again. There it is. And we will call that that. Use maximum size. And now that's in progress. And there we are. So we have those 2 hard drives available. Cool. So now I'll configure the virtual machine. and it has a lot of hard drives that I have to delete first. This is the operating system, we will keep that, and then we will remove 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's the old test, and I'll add 2 new ones. Hard drive, next. Create new virtual drive, check. Let's make it at 200 gigabyte, 200 gigabytes. Thin provisioning and specific storage. And I'll start with the SAS drives. Go. And we'll add another one. gigabyte, thin provisioning, and the solid state disks. And we've added those. Okay. And then we'll boot the machine, the virtual booting. And that will just take a second or two. Just to minimize this minimal. Well, it's booted. We have to configure the drives, and we do that on the management. Come on. There we are, in disk management, and there will be 2 new drives ready to be initialized. They're there. GPT, check, and we have them here. We will make a new simple volume. Use all the space, check. And this was the 2 terabyte SAS drive. That one, finish. And the other one. That was the 256 byte. Solid state disks. Here we are. And they have been formatted. Cool. You don't need that anymore. New drive, cool. New drive, cool. And this test is usually not that good, but what the hell, let's try it. 214 gigabytes. That's weird. Let's see, it's probably very fast. That actually takes a while. The test has completed, and I'm gonna shut it down, and I'm gonna start up the Crystal Disk Mark program here, which I found to be actually better than the other one, and that can be running there, and let's see the results of the other test. In the meanwhile, I took a print screen of each of the results. The first one over here is the 500 gigabytes, and these are the 64 gigabyte solid state disks. And there's not much of a difference here. Actually, the boost rate is quite odd. It seems that it's able to do a better boost rate on the SAS drives than on the solid state drives, and that's kind of why I don't like this program. It always brings up weird results. But on the other hand, it really seems like that the rate controller is the limit in this test program. So not much of a surprise here. Both of the graphs are pretty nice. The solid state drives, it looks a bit more clean. There's not as many bumps in it. So the results are in. Let's see them. Here they are. The first test results are the 500 gigabyte SAS drives, and the second one is the SATA solid state disks, and there is quite a difference. You can really see how the solid state disks outperforms the SAS drives. The first test is not really that remarkable. It's about twice as fast in the read and write. Both of them 300, 530. It's not totally twice as much, but then there's the 87 compared to 217, and that's over twice as much in write speed. But when we go down to the smaller file sizes, the difference is really a lot bigger. Here from 52 megabytes per second up to 443 megabytes per second. That's a lot. That's eight times, something like that. And the write speed is getting close to 4 times as fast. And when we go down to the 4 kilobyte sizes, this is like over 20 times as fast on the solid state drives. The write speed is not as big. It's, what is that, 4, 5, 6 times as fast. And the numbers down here for QD32, I actually don't know what that is, but the numbers are greatly increased. So you get a lot of performance on the solid state drives compared to the SAS drives, 7200 RPMs. So it's not bad. And another fact, the 64 gigabyte solid state disk that I put in the server is pretty much the cheapest drive you can get. If you have to buy a hard drive for that server, and you look at all the hard drives that are available for that server, very often that 64 gigabyte drive will be the cheapest of all of them. You get a lot of performance for that amount of money. If you need something for your operating system on the server, it would be a very good deal, good bargain to get that drive. I learned something out of this test. The numbers was not as big than that I have expected. The difference was not as big as I had expected of them. And actually this reached 532 megabytes per second. I had expected more than that. But, well, yeah, it's cool. Thank you for watching. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again. Have a nice day. Bye bye.